Electricity and Magnetism. Please subscribe. Part 1.
Metal wand, before the electricity makes a pathway of its own. The lineman then connects the helicopter to the live wires with metal safety clamps called a mechanical ground. The lineman can then climb onto the wires and make the needed repairs. While he's suspended on the wires, electricity treats Spider's metal suit as if it were part of the line and harmlessly flows over him. But if something goes wrong during the grounding procedure, the results can be disastrous. That's exactly where things went wrong one day for Spider.
As soon as I felt the voltage going through me from the mechanical ground that I had, I knew that I'd made a mistake. Sometimes it's a little bit late to figure out your mistakes, but I knew that as soon as I felt that. I had enough to know that it was killing me, and to me, I was screaming to the pilot to get me away from the wire, and he never heard a thing because I couldn't open my mouth.
The electricity stopped Spider's heart. Luckily, a quick-thinking coworker pulled Spider to safety and gave him CPR, saving his life. Clearly, it's a dangerous job, but thanks to the brave linemen and pilots who risk their lives every day, the electricity we all depend on will keep on flowing.
How does the metal suit worn by linemen help protect them from the electric current in transmission lines? Investigation. As you watch this segment, think about how electrical power can be generated.
Ever since reliable ways of generating it were discovered, electricity has been a part of people's lives. The key to producing electrical power lies in understanding the connection between electricity and magnetism. This connection may have first been observed aboard ships at sea. When ships were hit by lightning, a form of electricity, their magnetic compasses swung wildly. In 1820, a Dane named Hans Christian Ørsted conducted an experiment showing the relationship between electricity and magnetism. He placed a compass next to a wire that was attached to a battery. As an electric current flowed in a complete circuit through the wire, the compass needle moved. Ørsted had shown that an electric current can generate a magnetic field. In 1831, English scientist Michael Faraday showed that a wire with an electric current running through it could make a magnet rotate. This phenomenon is called induction, and its discovery led to the invention of the electric motor.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
We have a motor.
10 years later, Faraday made a second discovery. He found that moving a magnet in and out of a coiled wire created an electric current in the wire. This discovery led to the invention of the electric generator and became the foundation of our electric society. Electric generators produce most of the electricity we use today. Most of these generators depend on spinning turbines to generate electricity. A turbine is a mechanical device that uses a flowing substance such as air, water, or steam to push against blades and turn a shaft. As the blades turn, they spin a shaft attached to a magnet. The magnet is encased in a tightly wound coil of wire. As the magnet spins, its magnetic field causes electrons to move in the wires, inducing an electrical current. This mechanical energy of the moving blade has been converted into electrical energy, which can be sent over electrical transmission lines to locations hundreds of kilometers away. Blowing wind, flowing water, and even ocean tides can be used to turn turbine blades and generate electricity. But the most common way to generate electricity in the United States is to turn turbine blades using steam. Most of these generators create the steam they need by burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas, or by heating water using nuclear reactions. But these methods create harmful byproducts. The burning of fossil fuels creates pollution and may contribute to global warming. And nuclear plants generate long-lasting radioactive waste that is dangerous and difficult to dispose of. But one of the cleanest ways to generate steam is by harnessing the energy of the Earth itself. This type of energy is called geothermal energy. Geothermal energy forms as heat inside the Earth creates vast underground regions of hot rock. When these hot areas of rock come into contact with underground water, they can form geothermal reservoirs that can reach temperatures 3 times the boiling point of water. We can tap into this natural heat and use it to produce electricity by building geothermal power plants nearby. Geothermal energy can be found in 3 different forms, as dry steam, hot water, and warm water. Dry steam reservoirs, which produce steam and only a little water, are the most valuable kind of geothermal energy. Dry steam power plants tap into this naturally occurring steam and pipe it through a turbine, where it spins blades attached to a generator and produces electricity. The steam is then condensed and pumped back into the reservoir, where it starts the process again, without producing harmful emissions. Geothermal reservoirs of hot or warm water are more common and can also be used to generate electricity in a similar way, but they're generally less efficient than dry steam reservoirs. Today, geothermal power plants supply electricity to about 4 million people in the United States. But nearly 90% of America's electricity still comes from plants using fossil fuels or nuclear reactions to create steam. Worldwide, though, geothermal power plants produce about 7,000 megawatts, providing electricity to about 60 million people in 21 countries. The geothermal reservoirs we already know about could produce thousands of megawatts more if they were tapped. And no one knows how many other reservoirs there may be that haven't been found yet. So, as people's energy demands grow, alternative sources like geothermal energy are likely to play an increasingly important role in the world's energy production.
How do spinning turbines generate electricity? Electronics and television. Introduction.
We've grown used to viewing the thrills of events like this from the comfort of our homes. Television makes it happen. How does a scene, such as this interview with a driver while he's in the car during a race, make its way into your home? It all begins when light waves bouncing off the subjects are picked up by a television camera. In order to record the scene, a video camera scans the image. The scanning here has been slowed down and enlarged so that you can see it. In real time, the scanning happens so quickly that you do not see the individual scans. When television was first invented in 1884, the process of breaking the scene into bits was done mechanically by a spinning wheel. Paul Nipkow, a young German, came up with the idea of a pair of metal discs. He received a patent for his invention. One disc had a series of holes punched in a wide spiral pattern around the outside. As the disc rotated, light shone through the holes, scanning each part of the image and changing it into an electric current. The current traveled through a wire to a light bulb and then to a second disc, which could transmit the image onto a screen. The image could then be sent through a wire, just like signals from the recently invented telephone. In the 1920s, Philo T. Farnsworth gave the first demonstrations of electronic television. Farnsworth, the son of a potato farmer from Rigby, Idaho, was a largely self-taught engineer. One day, when he looked at the parallel rows he had just plowed in his father's potato field, he realized he could use a similar process to use rows of electrons to scan an image. Farnsworth's realization became the basis for modern television. In Farnsworth's electronic version of the plowed potato field, light from a subject would strike the front of a glass tube coated with a light-sensitive compound. Wherever light hit, it would leave an electric charge in the coating. A beam of electrons scanned the tube from behind and turned the image into an electric current. Farnsworth had managed to control a beam of electrons to scan an image, and electronic television was born.
Oh, that's me!
In 1951, CBS transmitted the first color broadcasts of television shows. By 1953, RCA had perfected the format, so more and more people could see shows in color. Today, television signals thread through our lives and provide a constant source of news, information, and entertainment. This amazing technology enables us to see and hear events as they happen on the racetrack, on the other side of the world, and even in outer space.
Electronics and television. Introduction. What common task helped Farnsworth?
World's Fair.
Television sure has changed since the first black and white images were transmitted in 1939. Today, you can ride with the driver inside race cars. Then the next minute, stand trackside as they hurtle toward you. And then, without batting an eye, you can float across the track, free as a bird. It seems so easy, we forget we are looking at a triumph of technology.
Nice shot. Beautiful. Wait. Stay on this race, man.
The triumph in this particular case looks like a large metal mosquito. The object can swoop across the field because somebody came up with the idea to install a camera in the nose of a remote-controlled helicopter. And then somebody else figured out how to transmit the camera signals from the helicopter to the control booth. The cars at Daytona whip around the oval at an average speed of more than 300 kilometers per hour. But that's a mere crawl compared to the video signals that bring you pictures of the race, which travel at almost 300,000 kilometers per second. Let's follow the video's electronic race from the track to your television screen. First, light images entering the aerial camera are converted into flowing electrons, the first of many changes for the signal before you finally view it. Next, the electrical signal is transformed into microwave radiation and is beamed from the tiny helicopter to a technician holding an antenna on a pole. Here, the microwave signal is changed back to a flow of electrons that moves through a wire to TV monitors in the director's booth. The signal is then beamed as an electromagnetic wave up to a relay satellite, and then relayed in the same form down to the network control room in New York City. Then the signal goes back up into space through another satellite link and is received by local television stations. At the local television station, the signal is transformed once again into an electron stream, sent on a short trip through wires to the top of a nearby transmission tower, where it is converted into a television broadcast signal. That signal, in the form of an electromagnetic wave, is received by antennas at millions of households. For viewers hooked up to a cable television service, the signal will also be captured by the cable company's satellite dishes, and can be converted into laser light that travels down long strands of glass, called fiber optic lines, to your home. All TV signals, no matter where they come from, enter your TV set as a flow of electrons, electricity. Specialized electronics inside the television set use that electrical signal to paint the viewing screen with a beam of electrons, line by line or dot by dot, so quickly that your eyes don't notice it. All the excitement, drama, the death-defying thrills on television come down to electrons generating an image we can see. The first experimental television sets used a beam of electrons about this large, which resulted in a very crude picture. Later television sets used a smaller beam that could paint more lines and show more detail. Until recently, ours had been an analog world. Analog signals can vary in strength, so analog transmissions can be distorted easily. Digital technology eliminates many of the problems associated with analog signals. Digital pictures and sounds are clearer. Digital technology not only improves the quality of pictures and sound, but also takes up less room within the cables that carry the signals to your home. This creates space in the cable for hundreds of new channels. Today, advancements in the field of electronics mean that we constantly have new and better ways to watch television. High-definition television, or HDTV, is the latest format for broadcasting programs. The pictures are noticeably superior to the audio and video seen on analog sets. We can watch HDTV on the new generation of sleek, stylish plasma television sets. Like the widescreen movie formats, the size of an HD TV picture is much closer to the way we see. Our field of vision is more rectangular than square, so when we watch television in widescreen format, it has a stronger visual impact. Besides a wider screen, the picture on HD TV has more detail and crisper images, and surround sound makes you feel like the sounds coming from your TV are all around you. Advancements in the field of electronics are happening all the time, but it is expected that within the next few years, almost every household in the United States will be watching high-definition television.
Electricity and Magnetism. Please subscribe. Part 1.